Is moving to Denver really worth it? I mean, Colorado and Denver get a lot of hype, so does it really meet the expectations? Hey everybody, it's Alyson Wall with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. All right, I talk to a lot of people, including folks who are planning to move here who have never stepped foot in the state, but have a job offer, planning to buy a house, coming full bore, and then they say, so is it really worth it? Is Colorado all that great? Well, time will tell, and that's an individual experience, but let's jump into some different layers of an answer to that question and see if I can help unpack that a little bit for you in this video. First up, we're going to talk about weather. This will probably be the longest topic that we will cover in this video because it's so nuanced and people are very curious about it. All right. Weather here is one of the biggest draws for people. They are very excited about what Colorado has to offer for weather, right? We have all 4 seasons. We get a spring most years. We usually have a fantastic fall, many weeks of beautiful weather. The leaves change. If you're from somewhere in the south where you usually go from green to brown or have no color, which is what I grew up with, that is something fantastic to experience. And then of course we have full summer and full winter. I grew up in Florida. Many of you may already know this, but if you're new here to the channel, I never saw snow till I happened to be up north visiting family and I saw like 8 snowflakes. So I still love the snow. I can drive in it just fine here because the roads are usually dry after a day. You do get experience after being here a while too. So I really enjoy all 4 seasons. It's nice not to just pretty much be in summer all the time or rain or a snap of cold. And that's a lot of what draws people here too. The fact that summer is dry heat is huge. Let me tell you, from growing up in the sticky humidity, needing multiple showers a day to feel clean, the bugs that thrive in humidity, the mosquito bites all over, the sheer just growth, the how fast plants grow, the yard maintenance is a lot easier here. However, the downside of that is things don't grow as fast and as green here. But really just the suppression of bugs is fantastic here. No palmetto bugs, fewer snakes. The mosquitoes are just different and less here overall. I happen to be allergic to mosquitoes now after being bit so much in the south. We'd actually traveled back a couple years ago and I had to call my doctor for medicine because of the reaction I had. Even as an adult, it hasn't gone away. I get a mosquito bite out here and it's like a normal person's reaction, a little annoying red dot when they occur, which is really rare. So that alone often thrills people because it's such a different living experience to like go outside, stand outside at night and throw cornhole with a neighbor and you're not covered in off mosquito spray, right? Kids love the snow days. You actually get snow days. You get to go sledding. You have an excuse to go skiing and you're only a drive away. The skiing is still expensive for those who are trying to pick it up. It's not an inexpensive sport, but the fact that you can hop out in the middle of the week, take a day off and go up and miss the crowds, it's a really fantastic experience. Most Coloradans don't want me to tell you this, but February, most years, is a month full of 50-degree days, punctuated by very cold with some good snow, and then right back up to sunny. We go, snow, we're down in the 20s, maybe teens, and then it's 30, and then it's 40, and then it's 50, and we stay in the 40s and 50s a few days, and then we get another snowstorm. February is a fantastic month here. January is usually our coldest. And then we hit March when it's beautiful for a few weeks. And then right around the time spring break hits, it starts to get windy, usually a little snowy. We might get a blizzard. I was gone for this spring break, but this year we had, another foot of snow sometime during spring break. We'll see if spring comes early this year. It's actually been kind of nice, but usually right around mid-March until close to the end of April, it's really a windy season. That's the downer. It's the part of the weather I hate is the wind. All right, we have covered that we have all 4 seasons. We have wonderful falls. We get a little bit of spring, sometimes a long spring, but usually it's not so much, which most of us don't seem to get long springs, right? Winters aren't so bad. We do get snowstorms. If you hate snow, this is not the place for you. But if you don't mind, snow gets shoveled out of your way, roads are dry, skies are blue, it hits back to 30 or 40 degrees the day after or 2 days after snowstorm, you'll be fine here in Colorado. Summers, they're dry. It is hot, but it is dry heat. The bugs go away. The night times, I did not mention this is the best part. At night, when the sun goes down, we hit into the 60s. It quickly cools off. Everybody is outside. People are walking their dogs. Kids are playing. They're on their scooters. They're on their bikes. Yeah, you pull out your portable fire pit and you sit out front, or you go to your fire pit in the back. It's so pleasant. You can open the windows. So all of that is such a huge attraction to why people want to be here versus the majority of the US where it's hot and humid and sticky. I mean, you can go to other places with dry heat, but it doesn't cool down. A lot of my Phoenix transplants last year were flooding in because there was something like 70 days in a row over 100, and it did not cool down. The low at night was like 92. So it's very different here with the cool temperatures we get in the evening. Now, some weather challenges to be fair and balanced, some of the cons. If you love humidity, it's going to be very dry here for you, and you may not like it at all. The other part of the fact that it's not humid here, that it's not wet, it is very much like a desert here in much of Colorado. A lot of times people have this vision of, beautiful cool mountains and running streams and green trees, and it's lush. Well, it is like that up in the mountains in a lot of areas, but not when you get down to the Front Range, not when you get down to Denver and Fort Collins and Colorado Springs. It's a lot drier. And we do have a period where everything greens up, but if we have not had a really wet winter and potentially a really wet spring, it can get brown pretty quickly, say maybe late June. And so it can not be as pretty as you're hoping for from maybe June until fall kicks in late September. So for some folks, that's really hard. If you're used to lush and green and floral and colors, we have some family members who it's just too much for them. They would rather live somewhere else. Also, as I mentioned, if you just hate snow, this is not the place for you. There are people who hate it. They are beach people. They want sun all the time. They don't care about the hurricanes. They don't care about the rain. If you're a snow hater, I don't recommend it. Okay, so the weather is usually one of the biggest draws for people to come here, but what supports most people getting here is jobs. So let's talk about the job market in Colorado, both for landing a job and then moving around. What's the diversity like, and how well are we supporting job growth? For years, Colorado has had one of the strongest job markets in the country. We've seen some softening in where we land ranking-wise over the last 12 to 18 months. However, when we look at the 2023 year-end data, Colorado ranks number 11 nationally for job growth, and the U.S. News and World Report's rankings support this. They put us at number 12 for job growth. They also put Colorado ranked number 5 for overall business environment. Denver's job industries are incredibly diverse. It makes our job market diverse and creates a lot of opportunity. So let's say you're in finance, you can be in finance across several different industries because of how well we've diversified since the oil and gas crash back in the 80s. So we are a totally different town than we used to be. We have strong industries in aviation, aerospace, biosciences, telecom, oil and gas still, financial services, tourism, food service, kind of the service industry overall, healthcare, IT, and more. I am pretty sure I have helped someone relocate here in nearly every single one of these industries. IT, physicians relocating here, some military folks who've relocated from overseas, Belgium, UK, Germany, coming back after serving in both contract work and military service from overseas, oil and gas traders, folks with Vail Resorts, with Bacardi, pilots, high-level dish executives. So Denver still continues to serve it up where good job opportunity is concerned. Now, when multiple job opportunities are on the table in different cities, we do have some conversations around cost of living. I will sometimes help with number crunching, looking at housing, preferred housing, and then we talk about some of these things we're talking about now, right? Is Denver really worth it? Now, I will tell you, I do not consider Denver to be a cheap or affordable city. There are other cities where you can find much more affordable housing. You're going to pay less for many things. You're going to pay less for home insurance, car insurance, probably gas, and definitely your house. So overall, I am not going to sit here and say, oh my gosh, it's so cheap to live in Denver. However, when we take Denver and stack it up against other places where you can have many similar attributes about your lifestyle, access to nature, really great job opportunities, museums, art, sports, just an overall great lifestyle, and good airport access to fly in and out, then we're really starting to dwindle down the selection. Then when you compare things, Denver stacks up really well where cost of living is concerned. Here's some of the most recent data. Smart Asset just did a study and they said, okay, well, if we take a $100,000 salary and we factor in for your taxes and cost of living in your local area for your city, how much money do you end up taking home, right? So who's got the best cost of living and who's got the worst in your city for a $100,000 salary? Well, here's a list of the 12 most expensive places to live. Denver is not on this list. You'll see 12 large cities and some of their suburbs, particularly New York burbs here. Denver came in number 50 on this list and was outranked by cities like El Paso, Lubbock, Oklahoma City, Columbus, Buffalo. Now, there were a few other cities who have economic stability, good diversity in their job market, are vibrant and lively with a lot to do, and they did outrank Denver. These are markets where I see people moving to Denver, where I see people leave Denver to move to, and there was just a handful of those. From this Smart Asset list, those cities included Boise, the greater Phoenix area, Atlanta, Raleigh-Durham, Dallas, Houston, Austin, so all those big Texas cities, and Nashville. Since I'm a mountain girl, Boise would be my only option. All right, let's talk safety. Safety often actually outranks education as one of the topics that comes up. It is not a long-lived topic because I have to let you all do your own research and determine what safety means to you. But because not everyone has kids at home or kids that are school age, safety often really does rank as more important. You want to feel safe walking to your mailbox, taking a walk with the kiddos, taking a walk with the dog, right? You want to feel like your personal belongings, your car, etc. are safe where you live. I feel like bestplaces.net, niche.com, and spotcrimes.com are three really good resources, and they all offer something different in terms of giving you an angle into the area we're looking at. If we use Highlands Ranch as an example, you'll see what I'm talking about. Bestplaces.net offers relative statistics for how Highlands Ranch performs against national numbers in nearby communities. So you get a different perspective there, and they're giving a lot of visual charts and graphs as well. Then when you compare that to niche.com, you are not getting that same level of data for Highlands Ranch, but they're heavy on reviews from locals. So totally different viewpoint there. Now, in a bigger area, you might get some ratings that you didn't get on this particular example. And then when we go to spotcrime.com, they give you a map. Totally different perspective you're not getting on either of the other two, which will let you look at what crimes have been posted, what were they, where did they occur. So I have found that to be very interesting as well. One of the things I like about these resources is that you can use them not only to look at Highlands Ranch or Parker or Littleton, but you can use them for an area you know and are familiar with where you currently live. That might be a baseline, right? If you know neighborhood B that's right next door to you is a very safe neighborhood that you feel very comfortable with, figure out what the crime score, if you will, for that area is, and then you can compare it to something here in the Denver metro to go, oh, well, okay, well, if the crime score in neighborhood B is blah, it's the same or better or worse in whatever in South Denver. So I feel really good about that, or I don't feel really good about that. And I suggest the same kind of comparison when we talk about education, which is what we're going to talk about now. I get the most personal questions about education, right? People hope that I know something about a specific school and can tell them if it's good. Well, one, I'm not allowed to, but realistically, my kids have only gone to a couple schools in their whole life, so I only have personal perspective on those schools. Now, I can do a lot to help support getting you information about other schools, but you have to do a lot of your own digging. And these websites only give you the factual data, right? They tell you test scores, or they tell you diversity, or supposed to student to teacher ratio, but you always want a little more information, and there's ways for me to support you with that. But one of the things that can be helpful is to compare what you're finding here to something you're familiar and comfortable with where you are. Now, for rankings in Colorado, we are ranked pretty well by several different data points, right? US News and World Reports ranks Colorado education for K through 12 12th in the country. Wallet Hub ranks our education quality 23 out of 50. And World Population Review ranks Colorado education K through 12 8th nationally. Another plus to Colorado is school choice, and we offer this in a couple different ways. From border to border, you have the opportunity to open enroll your child in another school. Not just your neighborhood school, it could be a school elsewhere across the state, as long as there is space and they say yes. You're gonna have to drive your kid there. The bus won't take them there, but you have the opportunity. We also have charter schools here, and we have a lot more here in Colorado than in a lot of other states. Another plus, our students here seem to be performing better in these charter schools than they are elsewhere too. So that means our teachers seem to be performing, holding our students to a higher standard, not kind of going off the grid, if you will, because I've heard from parents sometimes they don't like charter schools. This graph seems to show why. There seems to be poor performance elsewhere in the country, but not so much here in Colorado. Are you feeling this like internal tension waiting for me to give you one more thing, right? Jobs are important, safety is important, education is important, cost of living is important, weather, yeah, big topic, but it really isn't the thing that brings people to Colorado. It is all about the Rocky Mountains. It is all about outdoor lifestyle. Being able to see the mountains on your way to work, being able to see the mountains when you're out on a walk, being able to possibly see them from your front porch or your back porch or right out your primary bedroom window, being able to see them every day, anytime you want, when you go on a drive, when you go on a walk, when you step outside, is a huge deal to a lot of people. Being able to watch them over the course of the seasons, watch them in the morning when the sun is shining on them and the snow is pink and the sky is blue behind them, and then the sun comes up and all of a sudden the snow is bright white because the sun is fully awake. And then watching them as the seasons change and the spring rolls up and the foothills turn green, and then you still got snow-capped peaks, and knowing when the snow is fresh versus knowing when it's windy up there and the snow is blowing away, and watching the seasons unfold over the mountains and watching the sunset on the mountains, all of it, and just being a part of nature every day with the Rocky Mountains. And on top of that, having the opportunity to just get out and hike in your backyard, whether it's Castlewood Canyon over here or Deer Creek Park over there, or hiking a 14er, hiking in Estes Park, going to Golden Gate State Park, or practicing your favorite hobby, whether it's kayaking or paddleboarding or watching concerts under the sky and ancient red rocks over the city lights, snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, fly fishing, camping, hiking, four-wheeling, rock climbing, sneaking out for that one-day ski trip in the middle of the week with no traffic, frisbee golf in the mountains, floating down a river, or maybe it's just to drive around and look at the leaves in the fall, sneak away for a little lunch overlooking a bank of yellow aspens, hanging out in a B&B in Vail. All of that is why people move here. They just want to be immersed in the lifestyle. You can see the mountains from everywhere. It's not like when you go live on the beach and you have to be on the beach to see it. The mountains are a part of everyday life. And that, paired up with the sunshine, the good weather, the being able to be out all year round, along with all the other perks of Denver, right? You've got a good job market, you've got new houses, you've got clean places to live, you've got decent schools, and it feels safe, all of those other perks, but you've got mountains and good weather in a nice big city that's easy to fly in and out of, are what, for most people, just make Denver worth it. All right, well, now that I've sold myself on my own city all over again, if I can do anything for you and you want to chat about Denver and whether it's worth it for you or not, please reach out. I always love to connect, and I will see y'all next week.